The plan had been to visit Complexo de Alemão, which is one of the largest and most dangerous of Rio's many favelas or slums. But for 2 days we have been unable to take the cable car up this mountain. Everything is stopped because there is a big gunfight taking place as we speak right now over this hill. The fight between police and drug traffickers, a very common feature even during the build-up to the Rio Games of life in Rio's slums. In fact, there's been a huge uptick over the past 6 months in violence in Rio, an astonishing number of murders, 2,500 during the first 6 months of this year, and even in the last 72 hours, a number of deaths reported, violent deaths. This is the everyday life in the Olympic City for most of the residents, and for them, there is really no Olympic Games. None of them have tickets, none of them are planning to attend anything. The Olympic spirit simply does not exist here in the way it does down in the touristy areas like Copacabana Beach. This is the real Rio. So photographer Tyler Anderson and I reoriented ourselves and headed to the Santa Marta favela. Safety is always a relative term in Rio, but Santa Marta was pacified by police 8 years ago and is considered far more secure than Complexo de Alemão. Nevertheless, the geography, architecture, and pace of life in this jumbled maze of alleys and staircases is almost identical to what exists in the 22 slums of the complex. To get from one side of the notoriously dangerous complex to the other, you must travel by cable car. To see Santa Marta, you must take a rack railway that lurches up a cliffside. There may seldom be pitched gun battles anymore in Santa Marta, yet fear of drug traffickers and of the police is still so high that a middle-aged woman pleaded with visitors to not publish her name because the drug lords might kill her for doing so. Moments later, a pair of men sitting in a dark alley with bandanas obscuring their faces sternly warned the visitors to not take their pictures. Forgotten by those who live in the tonier precincts of Rio where the Olympics are to take place, shootouts, mayhem, and murder are everyday occurrences in the favelas that barely provoke a shrug.
Complexo do Alemão, it's really complex because it has many communities inside the one complex and have a different reality. A few years ago, the state make a pacification, the community, but when they start the economic crisis, the crime is go back, and we have a difficult moment now because the policy is not more have the control to the community, and they have a conflict with the traffic in the community.